Hi everyone. So today basically what I'm gonna be describing is obviously what's going on in the world. So basically, as we know, there was the sad murder of George Floyd, and it obviously is very sad. Obviously uh, my respect goes out to his family and friends. I watched his funeral there. It was very emotional. I mean, I didn't go to the funeral, I watched it on the internet. Very emotional. And obviously this is not a hate video to him or anything. This is just a general discussion in the UK of what's going on right now. And I know I'm having a lot of voice cracks, and this is my first video, but so basically so as some of you may know, there have been riots all over the UK, mainly in London. There were some smaller riots near where I live, down by Southend Beach. Up to 1,300 people went. I was gonna go, but I wasn't able to. I just wanted to go just to see what it was like to join in with the community and see people. And then in London the riots were much worse. The ones near me were just quiet, just going across, not really doing much, sitting down, obviously saying the officer I can't breathe, stuff like that, protesting as you would peacefully, not harming anyone. But in London there were some problems. For example, there is a statue of a slave owner. I forgot his name. It'll come to me. But basically, his statue got taken down, and people started dragging him along. And obviously, I could see why they would have done that, because obviously he was a slave owner. One of them was called Edward Colston. I don't know if that's the only one. I think that's definitely one of them. There was another one. I forgot its name. But basically, they just took it down, started rolling on it. Some people were being very symbolic. They kneed on his neck, saying all this stuff. And obviously, because they were vandalizing property, whether or not it was for a good cause, I don't know. It's not really my place to say anything. But the police started coming in horses and just started telling everyone to go away. Which, I mean, it's on the police side, that's a good thing. Come there, trying to keep the peace. Obviously, he couldn't, because a bunch of angry protesters aren't gonna be happy once a bunch of police come over telling them that they can't do what they want to do. But what really got me annoyed was that they went over to Winston Churchill's statue. Winston Churchill, basically, for the very few of you who probably don't know him, he was the British Prime Minister during the stages, the middle of the war to the end of the war, World War II. He basically, I mean, from my point of view, I think he obviously saved the planet, because if the UK had failed, then America wouldn't have had a base to land its troops on. And obviously it would have been significantly harder to win the war. Whether or not we would have lost if the UK had failed, I don't know. No one will know, because obviously it didn't happen. You can make calculations and stuff. Probably wouldn't have, because America's very strong. But as a British point of view, I like to think that we saved the planet, and I have a right to think that way, because I can. We live in a democracy, thank God. But they went over to Winston Churchill's statue, a bunch of angry rioters, and obviously they clearly don't know what he done. or they obviously look at the bad things of what he done, because they started vandalizing it. They started crossing out his name underneath where it said Winston Churchill. They put "is a racist," started putting signs on there, and it was absolutely horrifying. And it was, to me, I know a lot of people won't like this, but to me it was very, very disrespectful and rude, and they are just ungrateful, because this country, you know, we're very diverse. We come from a lot of places, because obviously Britain owned a lot of the world back in World War II times. Obviously we had that, you know, massive strip of Africa ranging from Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria, Gambia, you know, had Canada, Belize, some of South America, Australia, New Zealand, British Malaysia, British Raj, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. And obviously, because we were an empire, obviously we had to take all this stuff by force, and that's what people are using as the justification to vandalize, you know, this icon's statue. They were scribbling on his name, writing rude notes, putting it on it. Thank God they didn't take it down. If they'd taken it down, then that would have been awful, and a lot of people would have been outraged. But I've seen people on Snapchat and Instagram saying that apparently Churchill hated Muslims, and apparently he hated Indians, Africans, Americans, which isn't true. I've done my fair bit of research, and I haven't found anything to prove them right. Obviously, I am open to discussion. I am a very open person. I'm inclusive I'm very inclusive of everyone. Sorry. Very inclusive of everyone. Obviously, Black Lives Matter. I mean, in the UK, and I mean, mostly the USA, they matter more right now. That's my point of view. Because obviously there's a lot of oppression. I mean, the statistics show that more whites are killed than blacks in America. I've done my research before making this video, by the way, so I do know what I'm talking about. And even though more whites are being killed than blacks, it's still bad. You know, obviously it shouldn't be happening. And yeah, I mean, so obviously it's sad. Police shouldn't have to kill anyone, but some people just want to watch the world burn, I guess. And yeah, sorry, this is first time doing this. I'm a bit a bit awkward. I don't really know. I'll get onto it. So basically, I'm just doing these discussions with people. I mean, on my own, hopefully with people later. I mean, my gameplay, you know, this is pre-recorded, so whether or not it's good or not, you be the judge of that. Pretty sure you're paying more attention to the gameplay than this, which is fine, because I'm just yabbering on at this point, and it's been 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and I've had my rant. But also, on the last note, Derek Chauvin, whatever. He was obviously the police officer that obviously assisted the death of George Floyd. What a lot of people don't know is that, like, the autopsy report that they did on George Floyd showed that he had a heart attack, like a serious heart attack, while the tragedy was going on. And obviously that's why Derek Chauvin it hasn't been proven to be a racial attack, but it most likely was, because the records show, people obviously went through his records, people even know where he lives. He has 2 households, one in Minneapolis and one in Florida. People found out that he already, like, shot at people. He was abusive to other police. He he was. I don't know if that's true. He was abusive to criminals and that, like kneeing them, hitting them, shooting them. I think he killed 1 or 2 people. I think. I'm not too sure. It's not really clear. I'm seeing things saying he hasn't. I'm seeing things saying that he has. I'm just going with what I believe. And also Derek Chauvin, I'm just going to say Derek Chauvin because I think that's how you say it. Derek Chauvin worked at a nightclub previously with George Floyd, I don't know how long before. So it could have been a personal attack, you never know. I mean, you don't know. He obviously would never tell the truth, and obviously you can't get the truth out of George Floyd because he sadly passed, and it's awful. But Derek Chauvin, I mean, he says that, I mean, he was charged with 3rd-degree murder because obviously he didn't plan the attack. He wasn't planning to arrest George or Mr. Floyd. That's why he was charged with 3rd-degree murder. But then there was a poll petition. That's it. Petition to raise the degree of basically a sentence. Which, I mean, a lot of people don't really know what that means. I'm not really too sure. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have a rough idea of what that means. It reached 9 million. I think it reached over 9 million. I don't know if it stopped. I kept up with it for a few days. And then I lost interest. I mean, I didn't lose interest. I was just reading other stuff and I forgot about it. But, yeah, so... And he was, obviously, straight after the attack, he obviously wasn't charged with anything. Which obviously was awful. He got fired. And obviously people were outraged by that because he just committed a murder and he's just getting fired for it. And then obviously, I've seen the videos of like all the police that were guarding his house. And I mean, how terrifying is that? I'm not making excuses for the guy, but like... If I were in his situation and I couldn't leave my own house, that's scary, and he has a wife and kids. I'm pretty sure he definitely has a wife. His wife was she won Miss Minneapolis or something. She won an award basically, and she's filed a divorce against him as you would, because who wants to marry a murderer aside from another murderer. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this. This is just... I'm just winging it. Literally, I'm just winging it. I've done my research, but I'm just focusing on recording this. And it's been 13 minutes. Okay, I'll do my final stuff right now. What was I gonna say? Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, damn it. Oh yeah, I was saying... Basically, it'd be scary not even being able to leave your own house. And food delivery drivers, because obviously we were locked down at that time, or everyone started going out for the protest. Food delivery drivers refused to deliver to his house, so he was starving in there. And then he was eventually escorted to his second home in Florida, and then he went to prison because of what was going on, and everyone was really mad. But yeah, closing statements. Awful what happened. It's a tragedy, and riots everywhere. People looting stores. This is another topic for another episode. Because I've got to find 14 minutes of gameplay for this, so I'm just gonna hurry up and finish this. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you give me some positive feedback. I just want you to know that. I fully support the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm not against it in any way. Although I do believe everyone is equal, and everyone is equal, but at this time, just show a bit more respect and appreciation towards the black people right now. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.